We talking about all things sports. We talking about all things sports. We talking about all things sports.
What's up, everybody? You are talking sports with Mike and PL. I am your host, Mr. PL Coulter. Flanked to my right is my right hand man, Mr. Michigan Mike, Michael Hassol.
Let's go on.
What's going on, man? You ready to talk some sports?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, man. So a lot's going on since the last time we hollered at the peeps. See, we had California Chrome won the Preakness last week and puts them one win away from the elusive Triple Crown. I don't think a horse has won that since 1978. Think he'll get it done?
Yeah, I think he will, especially since they let him get those strips for his nasal. So I think he'll be able to go.
Yeah, it's all in the nasal strips. He's actually won 6 races in a row, dating back to 4 races in California. Also, the Memphis Grizzlies. Mike, I think my Grizzlies are working on their third coach in 3 years, and I mean, if I started to get into why, we'd probably have to stop the show right now. So
We're gonna have to save that for the blog.
I will quickly digress. You may want to look out for a blog on that. The NFL made a couple of changes. Spoke about a couple of changes this past weekend. First thing they're going to try out in the preseason is moving the extra point from the 2-yard line to the 20-yard line. I guess in an attempt to make it more competitive, to get that point, make it not such a freebie. And they're also talking about playoff expansion, moving the teams from 12 to 14, but they won't start that until 2015. We'll start with the extra point. Mike, what do you think on that? Think that's a good rule?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's supposed to be extra point, almost like a free throw. It's not supposed to be difficult. I'm not saying a 20-yard field goal is difficult, but it's not 100%.
So out of all the extra points attempted last year, I think only 5 were misses. I'm not sure how many of those were blocks.
Exactly.
So you're saying just leave it as is?
Yeah, if you don't want them to do that, or just take it out, make them go for 2-point conversions.
All right. Well, Tom Coughlin certainly agrees with you on that. Coming out speaking against that. Now, what about playoff expansion?
No, I don't like it. I just think the elite team should be at the top, and expanding that isn't. I mean, if you don't make the wild card, I mean that's before they didn't have a wild card; they had to open that up. So I think sticking with the wild cards and just keeping it as it is.
Well, I guess as a fan, I kind of like to see an extra team get in there, especially if that team can beat my Titans. Another owner that's definitely in favor of expanding to the playoffs is our friend Mr. Jerry Jones.
How about them Cowboys?
Who's come out and said that he will be an easy vote on that one.
Yeah, of course he would. Of course he would. They're always like one game out of the playoffs, or to make the playoffs. So
Right, and who wouldn't want to see the Cowboys in the playoffs, right?
yeah.
All right. Well, someone who's definitely keeping their eyes on maybe making the playoffs are the Cleveland Cavaliers, but they haven't been able to do it lately. But they've been able to do something that's almost impossible, man. It's 3 out of the last 4 years. They've got the number 1 pick in the draft, man. Last 2 years in a row. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I forgot they did the odds on that, and it was very unlikely that they would get it again, but they got it again. So
Yeah, less than 3% chance, and voila, Cleveland, you're back in the driver's seat. Now, there's lots of options for Cleveland with this number 1 pick. Of course, you have, I guess you would call the big 3 college prospects coming out with Joel Embiid, Mr. Jabbar Parker, and Mr. Andrew Wiggins. You're the owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers. You got trade options. You can go out and maybe try to use that as trade bait for a veteran. What are you thinking right there with that first pick?
that's exactly what I would do. You might have read my mind on that one. I say get somebody like Kevin Love. I mean, you know what you're getting. They don't need any more young people in there. They need someone, like you said, a veteran that you know what you're going to get, a scorer to help Kyrie Irving, a good rebounder, someone big up there. No more getting young kids and trying to see what they can do. Let's get somebody that knows what they can do.
Okay, well, speaking of a superstar, there's none bigger than Mr. LeBron James. And, speculation started immediately after the pick was announced that Cleveland would get number 1 again, that the timing was perfect for the King to maybe make a trip home. With what they have now, is there either scenario that would make it attractive for him to go home to Cleveland?
Right now, no. Well, the only thing I could see is if they got a veteran somehow to help. That's the only way I could see LeBron going over there. Because LeBron wants another veteran, so not all the stuff is on him.
Kind of like it is right now.
Yeah. So they need someone to get him over there. That's the only way I see him going actually to any team to get him away from Miami. I think he'll go to a team that is like right there to get another championship, and they just need that extra push, and that's where he would go.
Okay, so regardless of whether they go first pick, whether they go trade bait for the veteran, you think LeBron James is out in Cleveland?
Well, I say if they get a veteran, there's higher chances for him to go to Cleveland or back to Cleveland.
Definitely interested in what they will do with the draft coming up the middle of next month. Now, speaking of LeBron James, he's one of four teams left in the NBA championship run here in the playoffs, and there's a lot more at stake here than just title this year. I mean, we have legacies on the line. We have, like you said, potential moves on the line. We have a plethora of MVPs, Hall of Famers, coaches, just you name it, all lined up in these finals. With all that being said, who do you think has the most to gain by winning the title this year?
Who has the most to gain? Actually, I'll go one step further: gain or lose.
Okay.
And actually, I say that because I see it as the same team.
All right, do tell.
I see OKC being for both, just because the most to gain. I mean, of course, everyone will stop saying, "Oh, Durant, is he going to get one? Is he going to get one?" If he finally gets one with Westbrook, as everyone said that he wouldn't do it with him,
And without Serge Ibaka if he does it this year.
right? So that would definitely be the most to gain. I mean, everyone else has rings, Miami and the Spurs. So, and of course the Pacers. I mean, they have time; they're still young.
Right. Yeah.
The most to lose, I still say OKC because he's not getting any younger. He's seventh season or something like that. So with Westbrook, I mean, this is pretty much now or never. I mean, maybe one more year, but they keep expanding their contracts for Westbrook and Durant. So if anything changes, it's probably going to be the coach. So,
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, he'll definitely be the first casualty.
yeah. So most likely he's going to be out. But I mean, after that, you have to hurry up and try to get a ring. So that's the only way I see. No, I mean the Spurs or Miami, they have nothing to lose because they have rings. So their dynasty isn't going to hurt from this if they lose.
Okay, so with San Antonio, I think it's really safe to say from their body of work that they have a dynasty in place.
Yeah,
Miami,
yeah.
if they don't get it done this year, can we look at their body of work if everything blows up as a dynasty?
As for this team, a dynasty?
For this Miami Heat team, the LeBron James edition.
No, I mean they only have two. They would definitely need another one to be a dynasty.
But they both have time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but if they lose, they wouldn't be. I wouldn't consider it a dynasty. Not this Miami Heat team. I mean, Duncan, he's a legend. He's working on his fifth ring.
Right.
So and people don't even realize that he has four
Right.
rings already.
Right. Yeah, his legacy seems pretty safe regardless of what happens.
Yeah.
He's still playing.
And the other two, Ginobili and Parker, they have three. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Add two more Hall of Famers to the mix.
right. So they're definitely not hurting. But that would be amazing on one team to have 5 and then 4 and 4, that many rings on one team. So yeah, I mean it's definitely OKC needs to do something fast.
Now, from what we've seen in the first two games, it looks like that a team lost. Nothing like what we saw last round against the Clippers. Do you think they have a shot of even getting a game now?
And they might squeeze out one,
Right.
and that just might be the NBA saying, "Hey Spurs, y'all might want to chill out a little bit."
Pops, wrestle people.
Right? Like people are changing the channel in third quarter, so
Right.
yeah, that's the only way I see it. But maybe 5 games, yeah, tops.
I mean, your pick of San Antonio beating Miami in the finals is certainly looking a lot better
Yeah, man.
today than it did maybe a week or two ago.
They want that rematch.
They want that rematch. Now, we'll transition over to one of LeBron's buddies, Mr. Johnny Manziel, and rookie minicamp started, and they said from the onset that they would try to, limit the hype that is Johnny Manziel, everything that goes along with being him. But the front office has come out and started making some interesting quotes. I mean, the owners come out and said he's immediately going to be the backup. You have the quarterback's coach leaking, really what I would call proprietary information of the man asking to be drafted by the team. He leaks it to the media and looks like the bad guy. You have the quarterback's coach and you have the offensive coordinator saying, hey, he just needs to sit down and shut up. Do you think that's the right approach to take with Johnny Manziel right now?
Yeah, I mean, they said that he's actually been really quiet, and I mean, I don't think that's mostly coaches doing. I think it's more of that's just the unwritten rule around the NFL. The rookies just don't talk. Like you do the talking out on the field, but as a rookie, you have no say yet. You have to earn that. And so they say he's been quiet, no really talking, which I like that. Also, I wouldn't they. I mean, I know there's going to be a lot of reporters asking them, like they're already asking what's the rating like, and they're asking what rating the starter and Manziel, like what's their rating against each other, and they're saying, oh, Manziel's way behind. Well, I mean, of course he's way behind.
Of
He's
course so,
learning
right.
a new offense, like
Right.
like so. I mean, that doesn't surprise me, but yeah. So I'm liking how he's being quiet. I don't think he'll I'm not a Manziel fan, so I still don't think he's gonna do anything.
So,
I mean, even they said in practice, like besides just the 1, 2, 3 throws, his timing was off, his accuracy was not very good, and so maybe he just has those NFL jitters. Maybe they won't leave him.
right,
So,
and it's really been his first week, and it's been a whirlwind offseason, probably unlike anyone else had to go through. So we'll give it some time to kind of see what goes with Mr. Menzel. So you're on the record saying that you like the approach of the hey, sit down, shut up, just mind your business, do your job.
yeah, definitely.
All right. Now, someone else that's trying to get back on the field is San Francisco 49er defensive end Alden Smith. This past couple of days or so, he pled no contest to his 3 felony counts, and it's yet to see how Papa Goodell is going to swing the hammer down on him.
Okay, I gotta say something first.
What's up, man?
All right, so living in Dallas, we have a lot of Cowboy fans, of course.
Of course.
But strangely enough, there's a lot of 49er fans.
There are.
I mean, along with the Steelers, but that's a different day. But these 49er fans have, this past season or two, have just been getting at the Cowboy fans. Just like, oh, yeah, y'all sorry. Oh, we'll talk about Super Bowls, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, wait a minute. When's the last time y'all had a Super Bowl?
Oh, wow.
You know what? I looked at it. I was like, no. I was like, because I haven't.
Do tell.
I was 1994.
Wait. Well, I'm sorry.
94. So as a Cowboy fan, what would your rebuttal be?
Oh, we actually won our last one in '95, but I'll certainly digress.
So I mean, I just don't get why. I mean, of course, these Cowboy fans are just taking it because it's hard. It's hard to be a Cowboy fan nowadays.
It's hard to be a Cowboys fan, but we're gonna hang in there.
But still, as a 49er fan, you can't be like, oh well, we went to the Super Bowl. I mean, who says that?
So did the Titans.
Yeah, so does the Eagles. I mean, yeah, I don't talk about it because we lost. I mean,
and by the way, to reiterate, Michigan Mike is not a Cowboys fan or a 49ers fan. He's an Eagles fan. He's just calling it like he sees it.
just calling like I see it, man. I was sticking up for the Cowboy fans today during lunch, man. This dude was talking about the Super Bowls, and I was like, when's the last time y'all had a Super Bowl? Like, I was baffled. I was definitely baffled at that.
Okay, now, someone else that was actually baffled by a statement that was made this week was our actual Ask Michigan Mike participant this week.
Okay.
So, John in South Florida asked, LaShawn Shady McCoy came out this week and said he's the best running back in the NFL and specifically called out Adrian Peterson as his predecessor. What are your thoughts on that? You agree?
As of right now, I would agree. I wouldn't.
You would what?
I would agree.
I got to hear this.
See, LaShawn McCoy had 1,600 rushing yards. The next player to have the second place rushing yards was Matt Forte with 1,300. So he's leading that category of last year over 300 or around 300 yards. So the only person that I would say that would be next to him as far as what he does rushing and receiving would be Jamal Charles.
Who's never talked about in the discussion of top running backs in the league.
Right. But
you're certainly not saying Jamal Charles over Adrian Peterson, are you?
Yeah. For this past year, Jamal Charles going off of what he did last year.
Okay.
Going into next season. So, I mean, because I looked at Minnesota, I mean, it's hard for him because they don't really have anything. They know what they're going to do. They're going to run the ball. And he didn't have that many rushing yards. AP didn't. And
but the man had 2,000 the year before.
Okay. and you see that slope when you go from 2,000 to under 2,000, it's a slope down. So, anyways, um, so yeah, Jamal Charles, because he actually had more receiving yards than McCoy, which I thought was weird. I was like, what? Because I thought McCoy was one of the top receivers for a running back. But yeah, I would say if you did total yards between Jamal Charles and LaShawn McCoy, the difference is like 220 yards for LaShawn McCoy. But Jamal Charles has 8 more touchdowns.
Okay, so in this situation, you're telling John that yes, you agree with Shady McCoy that he's the best running back in the league.
Yeah.
Last year.
Yeah, going into this next year, I see McCoy being the number 1 running back.
Okay, well let me ask a question.
Right next to Jamal Charles, though.
Okay, well let me ask you a question for John. If you were, well, I guess it would be the same answer as well. But if you were starting a franchise today with a healthy Adrian Peterson and McCoy all day.
Yeah, McCoy or Jamal Charles. I mean, that's easy. I need my running back to run the ball as well as catch the ball out of the backfield, and that's what I need. Of course, you know me. We've been playing Madden, so screen.
I don't want to talk about that daggone screen. So, John, there you have it. And if you got any questions for Michigan Mike, you can always reach him on Twitter at
Michael Hasso. That's MichaelJasso.
And you can always reach your boy at PL Culture. That's at PLCOLTER.
Oh, before you finish this up, I also want to give a shout out to our NBA Michigan players. They made the All-Star team or the All-Star rookie team.
Oh, right.
The first string.
All right, so
Tim Hardaway Jr. and Trey Burke. Congrats.
Congrats to you. Just like our man Trey Burke and Hardaway, life is a sport, so always play to win.
Go Blue.
Go Blue.